November 21st,
2020.
2020. The Rambling Hour. Mike, what's up?
Not much going on. How are you?
Living life. Trying to, not think about what happened on Sunday, but, it is what it is. This team sucks. I mean, you lose a game to the Giants when you had more than a week to prepare, and that's not good.
Are
You
the
lost
Giants? Are the Giants
Hmm?
going to win the NFC East, or are we still? You think?
I think it's going to be the Giants because we have a very, very, very tough schedule. A very, very tough last
For the least.
few games, and
We'll be lucky.
it's not looking good.
After this Browns game, we'll be lucky to. Who do we got after the Browns? What are we
Seattle.
looking at for the Browns?
Seattle.
And then
I think I know Arizona's in that. Arizona's in that. Green Bay,
New Orleans,
and then we end this season with the game against the football team.
Oh, great!
So that's what we're looking at.
Unreal schedule.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. But with the Eagles, we're probably going to get some excitement, probably because you just know that. How many years have we been watching this team?
They win games they're not supposed to win.
They win games they're not supposed to win, and then lose games they're not supposed to lose. But what I saw, and I predicted the Eagles would lose last week, what I saw was just
pitiful.
It was pitiful. It
was embarrassing. They didn't even look like they were trying at all.
There's been a lot of boring games that the Eagles have played in the last few years. I cannot think of a more boring half than the one I saw on Sunday. I was just bored. I was bored out of my mind.
There's no one exciting on the team except
no one exciting.
Miles Sanders, who they just refuse to let get going. It doesn't take much for him to get going, but they do not give him the ball once he gets going.
I think the weaknesses of this team really came out. I think this is something that's kind of been building up because I think the biggest thing is a failure to game plan on Doug Peterson's part.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look at the Giants game, you look at the Dallas game, you look at the previous Giants game. These are games that I believe I love the talent on the Eagles team, like the raw talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
we've got a roster that could compete for maybe a playoff win.
Exactly. But you have that roster. You have that a team that can probably do some damage or that is capable of doing damage. But there's two things that I just saw, that's been holding them back. Obviously, you have the offensive line. You have
other than injuries.
Yeah, you have linebacking problems, injuries, a horrible front office, game planning, and motivation.
Yeah, they just go out there and they seem uninterested.
I feel like they're uninterested, and Doug is failing to put a game plan together. And I feel like they correlate because you need to have some type of motivation to play a football game.
Yeah, you got to be playing for something.
Yeah.
Which they're fighting for, regardless of how shit the division is right now. You're in a position to win it. You can win it.
And you're very capable of winning it.
They don't care. Don't. They're so frustrating.
They don't. No. So yeah, I mean that's, and you, I said this last week. You look at the way the Giants have been playing. They're a 3-win football team. They're a 3-win football team. They're a 3-fucking-win football team. They play every game like it's the damn Super Bowl, or should be the Super Bowl.
That's Judge, I think.
And that is Judge. He's a great. To be honest with you, Michael, we all shit on that hiring A lot of people shit on that hiring, including me,
Mhm.
because like, okay, yeah, who would bring in a special teams guy from New England?
No
No
one.
New England coach has succeeded.
Mhm.
I think Joe Judge is the best shot of succeeding.
And Flores in Miami.
And
but
Flores, yeah, those are the
he's like-
two.
yeah.
I mean, like, you look at that roster; they're horrible. Wayne fucking Gallman. Where would Sterling Shepard be on the Seahawks? He would be like on the sideline, maybe seeing 2 snaps a game. Where
Yeah.
would
don't have the kind
Darius
of
Slayton
space.
be?
They don't have that game was like on paper we murder them every time. And like every
yeah.
position. But they just seemed like they wanted it more.
Exactly. And I'm telling everybody, you give that team 2 skilled players, plus maybe Saquon coming back, like
They were my dark
75% of what he was.
They were my dark
I think
horse
that team's
NFC.
insane.
They were my dark horse NFC team going into the year. And I don't if Barkley's healthy, then he wasn't really doing much before he went out, but maybe they're probably winning the division if they have Saquon, right? You think?
Yeah.
At this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, they're winning that division. They're winning division. And plus, I think, they like you look at the 3 other teams. Dallas is depleted. The Eagles are depleted. Washington, so.
They don't
But
they're not
I think they're their biggest problem.
Washington.
Yeah, but the Giants swept them.
Yeah.
So that solves that, I guess. I mean, if it ever comes down to a tiebreaker.
What's the Giants' divisional record right now?
They lost to Dallas. They swept Washington. They split with us.
3-2.
So yeah, they're 3-2. Yeah. 3-2.
We're 2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we actually are. Yeah, because we play Dallas
Mhm.
and then we play Washington to end the season. Yeah. So I mean, it's just. You just know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen.
I think
Going into these games, you just know what's gonna happen, and that's what I saw.
I think that was Doug Peterson's worst game as the Eagles head coach.
I think when Doug loses in the Meadowlands, it's horrible. It's horrible when he loses there.
He can't do simple math.
No.
Why would you go for 2? What was? Well, I don't even remember. What was the situation?
They're obsessed with going for 2.
Yeah, because they get it once and going for it on 4th down, dude. They try to go all balls to the wall, but they fail to realize that if you fucking fail to convert, then you're putting yourself in a shitty situation. They're so caught up. He's so caught up in like what happens if the play succeeds, but then he calls the dumbest plays that never succeed. And he loses us games because of it multiple times this year. He has to leave. He's got to go.
I wouldn't say that. He definitely should be on the hot seat going in. I think he should be on the hot seat going into the next season. Because you look at, here's the thing. This team after the Super Bowl could have been dominant for years. For years, I believe.
I thought we had maybe not a dynasty, but at least multiple appearances in the Super Bowl coming up,
or playoff appearances. And yeah, I mean, you look at the last couple of years, we've made the playoffs.
Yeah,
we've only won 1 game, but we made the playoffs. We've been there.
Probably shouldn't have won,
but there's no like. I feel like it got to everybody's head. It got to Doug Peterson's head the most.
Yeah, they're just riding on a high horse.
Exactly. And this team, I mean, you look at what they've had, and obviously injuries have played a role in it, but it's also poor coaching. It's also poor execution. There's no motivation on this team.
Some of the play calls just baffle me.
Yeah, like the 4th down play calls. Now, all the time. Now, not all the time I agree with Doug going for 4th down or kicking a field goal. Obviously, in the Pittsburgh game, why are you fucking sending Jake Elliott out for a 57-yarder when he's kicking right into the Allegheny River? Okay? That's what pisses me off the most. What pisses me off is the plays on the fourth down, the play
They're
designs,
awful.
the calls. I mean,
It's just a
the
screen
one good
pass.
thing,
It's a screen every time, regardless of down and distance. It's just a screenplay.
but I will say this: the one good call and probably the only good thing that came out of Sunday, Doug Peterson had a good fourth down call, one, and that was the Jalen Rager. It was on the first drive, I think.
Screen.
Yeah, it was like a Ben Roethlisberger play.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Ben to Deontay Johnson play.
Yeah, and then you can't. Like late in the game, I think it was like 4th and 13 or something. We had to go for it because we failed to go fucking 2. We failed the 2-point conversion. We were down 4, or whatever happened.
This team drives you nuts.
They put years on, but it was like 4th and 13 around midfield, and they ran. I don't even fucking know what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
They just look clueless. They look clueless trying to fucking do anything out there.
It's horrible.
It's
horrible.
Why do you not give him the ball more? What's the reason? Why?
You look at the last 2 games. You look at the last 2 games. The Dallas game, Boston Scott was running the ball pretty good. This team can run the ball for some reason. The offensive line and the pass protection is god-awful. But you can run the fucking football.
You have Miles Sanders, if we have a full healthy O-line, can be a top 3 running back in the league.
Hands down.
And we only give him the ball like 13, 14 times a game when he should be getting like 25 touches at least.
And that's what's wrong with the game planning. You know going in that you're going to have a hard time throwing the football. Okay?
And you
got to go to your run
all season. And
you got to go to your run. And you want to see some balance in this offense. The balance with the run and the pass. And maybe you could see some differences. Obviously, more teams are expecting Doug to throw the ball 60 fucking times a game and maybe hand it off to Miles Sanders. So they're going to, going into like the Giants game, they were probably game planning for Sanders because, they were able to run with Boston Scott. Sanders is coming back. Obviously we'll keep an eye on Fulgham, Rager, all those targets.
He got locked up. He didn't do anything.
So, and then once the game comes, they make the adjustments, and then, bam, Miles Sanders. What explains Miles Sanders' impact from Sunday was the drop snap. He picks it up and scoops it up and runs for 11 yards. You run the ball until you can't. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do tomorrow.
Like, if we go out, if Wentz throws more than like 35 passes, unless we're getting like blown out early, which I don't really see us getting blown out. No. If Miles Sanders doesn't have 25 touches, he's your best player on offense by a lot.
Yeah.
And they just will not give him the ball.
No.
It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating.
It's such a simple thing. Just run it.
And that's the type of thing that can lose a player's motivation. As kind of tying in.
There's no way Miles Sanders thinks that they like him. Or else they'd give him the ball.
But I'm just saying, that could be discouraging a little bit. Obviously, and plus with the injuries. You know what I'm saying? But we're playing the Browns tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Cleveland was a pretty good football team. They're not bad.
They can run.
They can run the football. They can fucking they have 2 elite running backs. One was a top 5 running back not so long ago, in Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Chubb's in
injuries have killed him.
Now.
Injuries have hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
Odell. No Myles Garrett this week.
That's big.
COVID. He is COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking? I don't know. I think this is obviously a winnable
game.
It's going to be a weird game because you look at last week. Cleveland won a game 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
Last week they won a game 10-7.
It wasn't a very impressive win. The running game was impressive.
Yeah, I think we can win. But
I think we can.
I don't know if we are.
It really depends on what Doug decides to do. which, knowing Doug Peterson, is going to be throw the ball 50 times. Miles Sanders, you'll get your 12 touches and fuck off.
And it's to the point now where I'm at a win-win. Like Sunday, I'm like, all right, if the Giants beat us, it might be better for the long term. It might expose some problems from the last few years with Doug Peterson post Super Bowl that have yet to be addressed. And obviously problems from the last couple weeks. That being game calling, that being motivation, that being a poor offensive line, some other stuff.
The regular things.
And that happened. It opened eyes. Because you lose to a team that you've been better than. They came into the game with 2 wins. A team that you usually beat and you own. Dominate
for the past 5 years.
Exactly. Here you play Cleveland. The Browns. The Browns are nowhere close to Pittsburgh. They're nowhere close to Baltimore.
No. Well,
and these are teams that we almost beat.
That's a good point.
And but here's the thing. Every game's different. I think the Eagles are definitely a different football team than they were against Baltimore, against Pittsburgh. Considering that, I think the first Giants game kind of turned the tide, and it made it like, okay, yeah, this is not a good football team at all. This is not a good football team at all. Then you see him play Dallas. Then you see him play this past week. So I think this game can go anyway.
The expectations are very low for this week.
I think it's very low. It's not exciting. I'm not excited.
No.
I'm to be honest with you, I'm more excited for fantasy tomorrow. But
I've been more excited for fantasy.
Oh, yeah. But it's the point now where I think we gotta realize a good draft pick
is more important.
Top 5 draft pick
is more important.
Would be beneficial and would cost and would be a win.
Yeah. I would rather us get a higher pick and not win the division than us be trampled in our own fucking stadium by whoever we would play on wild card.
Tampa Bay, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't, I don't care who we play. We would get absolutely murdered.
Here's the thing. It's a fucked up season with no fans and no training camp and all that. So it might be the year for it to happen. I'm not saying they should try. Now, if they go out and they beat Cleveland, they beat Seattle, they beat whoever they're playing after that or whatever.
No chance.
If they go out and they actually prove to be the team that I think they're capable of being, then we have something different here. But right now, after looking at the second Giants game, I'm like, you know what? I will take a draft pick. I will happily take a top draft pick away from maybe the Giants or whoever would win the NFC East, or Dallas or Washington, and that would be more of a win. Because if you think about it, I think those 3 teams are in more of a need of a top draft pick than the Eagles are. Because you look at the Giants.
Yeah, probably.
You look at the Giants. That might send them, if they win the division, that might send them back.
Yeah. I think every team in this division is playing to lose. They all should be playing to lose.
Should be playing to lose. And the winner of the NFC East is really the loser. It's going to be different if obviously there's still 6 weeks, 7 weeks to play, but
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this division's really close.
It is close.
But for as shitty as it is, it's close.
I don't want to be sitting there on wild card weekend, just
I wouldn't even
watching.
I wouldn't even watch it.
Watching the Eagles rolling over and dying.
I wouldn't want to watch it.
Now, it would be different, like I said, if they were to go in with some momentum, like we thought they did last year.
Yeah.
But, it's different.
If the season ended right now, I would not watch our playoff game.
Yeah. No. And also, it would be good, too, like, kind of to make a point for it. to get the guys some playoff experience, just to kind of feel what it's like, even in Wentz. But other than that, you give the Giants back the draft pick, you give the Washington football team a draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, and the point is, I'm not saying they should tank, but I'm just saying
what fans draft the shit anyway. So
I'm saying this is what fans should.
Yeah.
Well, how fans should look at it.
Mm-hmm. But now you're a fake fan if you don't think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl every single season.
It's to the point now where it's like you don't like whenever the Eagles lost, like in the 2016, 2015 pre-Super Bowl, and even after, like whenever you had that loss, like when they lose, you have that like shitty feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even getting that. I'm like, all right, like
whatever.
Give me the fucking draft pick. Like honestly, I take that now. I'd rather that now.
They're like really not even a concern for me anymore.
No.
They're not trying. Why the fuck would I care?
And here's the thing. It's probably going to benefit them because they're going to get a better. Because Howie will go. Doug's going to be. I think Doug Peterson's definitely going to give up play calling if he's not let go, which he probably won't be, but he'll give up play calling. Jim Schwartz will probably leave. Jason Peters will probably be released.
Finally,
you'll bring in a guy that hopefully.
Too late.
Exactly. You hopefully bring in a GM that can draft, that can put together a football team, and then bam, we're back at it next year. We're back in.
Flip the entire front office over and
like hopefully we'll be watching meaningful football next year. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. COVID stuff's done and we get a regular.
And we can go to training camp and we can have a nice preseason and then
have games
kind of roll in. Yeah, speaking of which, I mean, they said in Philadelphia that you can't have fans anymore, which is kind of upsetting. But, well, not really, because I wasn't
planning on seeing these fucking people play anyway. So
absolutely not. I thought I did that once. It was. I mean, if I were to go to that, I do not regret it. I said that even after. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, first time in a sporting event in 10 months.
You went to a football game.
Yeah, I mean, like say I went to a football game during COVID, and plus there's a small minority of people that went to football games this year, Eagles games even.
Mm-hmm.
It was just fun, but and I wasn't planning on going anymore because I'm not spending $200, $300 to watch what I'm seeing right now. It's not worth it.
Not at all.
No. So, what do you think about the rest of the league, where it's at now? Like, obviously, we saw the game Thursday night. That was a really good Thursday night game. And I think that is the beginning.
First half was awful.
It was awful. It was bad. But I think that's the beginning, the new beginning.
You know what?
Of the Seahawks in Arizona.
Seattle was starting to, trickle in a downward trend, but that game, their weaknesses looked really strong. Their run game looked amazing and did Carson even play?
Nope.
Yeah, so once they get him back, I think they're going to be rolling. They got a lot of guys in that.
DJ Dallas, Carlos Hyde.
DJ Dallas, Carlos Hyde, Carson.
And that's Pete Carroll for you. That's Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's
he's a great.
Say what you want about Pete Carroll. I personally don't like him, but he's a good coach. He's a top 5 coach in the league. He knows what he's doing.
And that defense too. Seattle's defense looked way better.
They looked all right.
They were historically bad going into that game, but they held Kyler. They held Kyler to what? He got me 20 fantasy points, so that was a disappointment.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, Arizona and Seattle, that game's back.
That's been a great rivalry for years.
That game's back. I really liked, I think it was only really prominent when Carson Palmer in the last few years, post Legion of Boom or whatever, or during Legion of Boom. I think it was only prominent when the Cardinals had that 1 year where they went to the NFC Championship with Arians and Carson Palmer and David Johnson when he broke out. But yeah, I mean, and Kyler Murray, I think everyone said that he was a dark horse. I knew he wasn't a dark horse. He was, and plus with the addition of Hopkins,
Yeah, he was a front runner.
They have a team. They
They got a real good squad.
They have a team.
Is Chandler Jones is out for the year?
Yeah,
right? I think. Yeah, he's like one of the most underrated people in the NFL.
Hands down, one of the most underrated. But yeah, I mean, I think, and plus for Thursday Night Football,
we needed a game
great.
that actually like had meaning to it.
That was great. Because like 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago, actually 4 weeks ago, Michael. Yeah, the Eagles and Giants playing a Thursday night game, rivaling on the other networks, a presidential debate. So, if you had this type of game on that night, it would be a little bit more even in terms of ratings. Man.
Yeah, I think that was a really telling game for both teams. I think Seattle showed that they're not just Russell Wilson.
No, they're not.
Arizona showed that Hopkins after that big catch, I thought he was going to have a pretty big night. He didn't do a whole lot. Kyler didn't do a whole lot.
Right.
But, they're still going to be competitive.
Oh, hands down.
That division's really, really, really competitive.
Yeah, and then you have 4 teams there that can play football. Easily.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're getting at San Fran and LA every week, but I feel like with Arizona and Seattle, you kind of know what you are. Like you look at, LA, all 4 of those teams can beat the shit out of each other. That's
right. Yeah.
Those
are all games I think you go into not decisively knowing who's going to win.
Right. Yeah. Fun fact: Arizona is the only stadium that's allowing fans in that division.
Really?
Yeah. Arizona is the only one. I haven't looked at the games this week, but what do you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
9-0, 9-0.
9-0 is 9-0. But do you think they're going to fall off at some point?
I would have to look at their schedule, but they beat up on bad teams, but that's what good teams do.
Yeah. I don't know. Like them and Baltimore, I feel like are the 2 same teams. Now Baltimore lost to New England.
Vintage Bill Belichick. That is
Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick showed up.
Yeah.
He showed up. And I feel like and I haven't watched a lot of the Patriots this year, but
they're not. You know what? I will say this. Bringing that, what are they? 3 or 4 and 5, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere like hovering around 500.
They could beat good teams.
Yes, and bringing that roster sucks. That roster is awful, and they're like hovering around 500. No one expected the Dolphins to be like 6-3 at this point, but they're probably fighting for a wild card spot if Miami's not there.
Yeah, and Miami and Brian Flores, Tua, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
Miami showed up.
That division did a total 180 other than the Jets.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The Chicago,
the Jets this week, if any team in the NFL was going to lose to the Jets, it would have to be the Chargers.
Yeah.
It has to be the Chargers. If they were Chargers,
the Chargers lost to the Browns in 2015.
Yeah, with their one
to prevent them from going 0-16. They would have gone 0-16. Chargers 2016. No, they would have gone 0-16 2 straight years if it weren't for the Chargers.
I couldn't even imagine being a Chargers fan. They lose every game by like 5 points, 4 points.
And here's the thing: I feel like they have somebody, like they have talent. They've always had talent.
A ton of talent. They've
always had talent. Even back to like LT.
And I don't even think what's his name,
Herbert or Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn. He's not a bad coach.
He's not a bad coach.
They're in every game they play, and they just can't finish.
Yeah, and this is a team that was in the divisional round a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're good football. They had good talent.
They beat Lamar Jackson for his first playoff loss.
Yeah, and then they go to Foxborough.
That game was so funny. It was 35-7 in like 5 seconds.
It's hard to believe like we're done with like a lot of like with Drew Brees going out this week, I feel like that's kind of the beginning of the end for him. I know he's kind of good. I know he's like still putting it together. He's not the same quarterback, but
yeah, no.
I feel like after Drew Brees, you have Brady on the Bucs, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Phillip Rivers on Indianapolis.
Bunch of old guys.
That era is starting to go.
Yeah,
like the era that we grew up in is starting to go.
Yeah,
and
but I think the league is in really good hands with these young guys.
Absolutely.
We got a ton of young talent, especially at the quarterback position.
Absolutely.
We just got 3 guys this year.
And you're having talent come in.
Franchise guys.
You're
and then you got Lawrence coming in. You got Fields.
Dude.
Yeah, they're...
And it's kind of crazy because if you asked me, like when Lamar Jackson won the Heisman that year, if you asked me that night that he won the Heisman, if you told me that he was going to be where he is in the NFL, I'd be shitting on you.
I would have laughed.
Because you look at the mobile quarterbacks. Like when they were on college, there was no way you thought they were going to be good in the NFL because it was such a pass-happy league, and it kind of still is. Mm-hmm. But the quarterbacks are running now; they're getting yards.
You need to be an athlete.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Eli Manning. It's not
you got to do both.
Brett Favre, like Brady. Like that era's going.
Mm-hmm.
Like Taysom Hill's starting for the Saints this week, right?
I mean, I guess they saw something in practice with Winston.
Yeah, I'd rather start Taysom Hill, but because I think he's going to be a fucking stud if he's a starting quarterback.
Tight end in my one league this week.
That dude could play any position. That's one of those guys like you could put anywhere and he'll be great at.
Yeah, but he does. I think he's a football player.
He's going to light up. He's going to light up whoever he's playing because he can throw the ball. Exactly. There you go. He's going to throw the ball like. I think he'll throw for like 250 or something. And they'll have him run the ball a couple times, and then bam. Saints are all right. Saints are fine.
It's gonna be kind of.
Hold on one second. I gotta plug my thing in.
I got you. I'm gonna turn my fan off. I'm freezing.
But yeah, it's like, the Saints are going to be fine.
Yeah, it's going to be, they're going to run Taysom Hill a lot. And it's going to be, interesting. It's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
Maybe they're paying this guy $16 million a year. That's probably why they're starting him.
Exactly. And no one's going to run that, and when Brees comes back or whatever, or if they want to throw Winston in there, no one can run, that skill player that Taysom Hill plays as, that gadget player, like the Saints. Nobody, I don't think anybody will come close to that. Like you can say with Jalen Hurts, you can say with all these other guys, but I think no one will come close.
Taysom Hill's the best. Taysom Hill might really be the most versatile player in the NFL.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He literally does everything.
Hands down.
He blocks, punts, catches, runs, and throws touchdowns.
You thought that was going to be J.J. Watt, but J.J. Watt, obviously he's injury prone.
Yeah.
But I think Taysom Hill is the ultimate gadget player. There was some basketball news this week.
Tons of
basketball news. There was the draft,
season, baby.
There was the free agency, I guess. And
this draft sucks.
Yeah, it kind of is what it is. I guess LaMelo Ball was the big highlight. Goes to the Hornets.
Jordan ties now. They signed Gordon Hayward to a 4-year, $120 million deal. Why? What the fuck are you doing that for?
I have no clue. But I will say this. I'm very impressed with what Daryl Morey has done for the Sixers.
Oh, he's been making great moves.
I think this is the guy that you needed. I think this is the guy that you needed to bring in here and kind of set the thing straight because
he's been making. I think he realizes what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he knows.
And he's making moves to get those pieces.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think the Sixers are in a much better spot than they've ever been during this whole process. I guess the process is still going on. People want to call it dead. People want to write it out. People probably hopped off the process bandwagon after Brett Brown left, or after they realized Brett Brown was a failed experiment. But you bring in Dwight Howard, you get rid of Richardson, you make a great trade for him.
Seth Curry.
Seth Curry.
Bring in Danny Green.
Yep, you draft that kid from Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I forget his name.
Somewhere, I forget his name.
I don't really care about the NBA draft unless there's like a Zion type person in there.
This is a team that needs, or that I feel like, and they bring in Doc Rivers.
They needed shooters and backup paint defense, and that's exactly what they got. And this is something that the Eagles are horrendous at. The Sixers got rid of Horford, and they got rid of Josh Richardson right when they needed to. Right. Like, they knew that they needed to get rid of those guys and bring in some other people, and they did it instantly and made them into good moves. And the Eagles just refuse to do that. I feel like they feel bad letting people go.
And that's the thing that they got to get out of their head. And here's the thing with the Sixers. They need to I feel like there's, out of all the teams in the city, I feel like they needed to do that. Mm-hmm. And I guess the Eagles too.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. But I really like that they brought in Doc Rivers, because I feel like
I think that's a great pickup. Once I heard that he was on the market, I was like, this is the dude that the Sixers need to sign.
Right when he came up, they got him. They snagged him.
Yes.
It was perfect.
They've had to me at least, the stuff that I wanted them to do, they've had a perfect offseason in my eyes.
Oh yeah, hands down. I think they've done what they needed. I just think they need to put it together. And they need to just kind of get it going.
I don't see them winning a championship, because I think there's you got the Lakers, who are also having a fantastic offseason. The Bucks have maybe had the best offseason. The Nets are going to probably get James Harden. So I don't see the Sixers going anywhere, but I love the moves that they're making.
Oh yeah, how can you not? How can you not?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of that. Anthony Davis is hitting the market. I think that's very interesting for the Lakers.
Find his option?
I think he's a free agent, and Lakers fans are pissed off. They're pissed off for a good reason.
He's not going anywhere. There's no way he's going anywhere.
I don't know. Depends on what they offer.
I don't see him going anywhere. They'll throw anything at that guy.
Yeah. He kind of helped them. He was probably the reason that they...
Yeah,
him and LeBron. He was the number 2 to LeBron, basically.
Yeah, they don't win that championship without Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no. It was interesting. An interesting few days of the NBA in the offseason.
I didn't even hear about that. The Lakers, if they lose Anthony Davis, they're definitely not the 1 seed in the West.
No.
Probably is like the Nuggets or the War. It sucks that Clay's out for the year. I hate that.
That fucked them. Big time.
I hate that.
That fucked.
This is going to be a very, very big year in the legacy of Steph Curry.
Yeah.
This is a huge year. This is a big this is if he can bring this team to like a conference finals appearance, then maybe not over Magic, but I think he's definitely inching closer.
Right.
If he wins the championship, he might be over Magic. But
easily. What do you think about James Harden? Where do you think he's going to go? I personally think he's going to go to Brooklyn.
That's the only place. That's the only place with rumors at this point. There was a Sixers for like 5 minutes, and then they shut that down pretty quick.
Because Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
That was the only reason.
I don't even know who we would have moved to get him.
Yeah, no. Plus, I don't think it really would have. I don't know how it would have clicked.
Yeah, I don't know where you're putting him.
I mean, I would take him. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, he's a great player. But
I mean, he's probably. I think he's probably like that next tier down from like LeBron and Kevin Durant.
He's like top 6.
Yeah.
Player. I will say this about the Nets. If I were them, I would rather keep that bench intact. Like, keep as many players on that bench intact and get Kyrie out of there. Try to include him in the deal. I don't even know if the Rockets want him or, what the deal is with that. But I'd rather have KD and Harden. And
here, my audio went out.
The what?
Turn off.
Technical difficulties. We good?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay.
My AirPods died. Yeah. So yeah. Classic.
So I think with the they should try to. Well, if I was the Nets, I would try to include Kyrie in the deal rather than give up your entire bench and your entire the next 3 years worth of picks. Throw Kyrie in there, save some of those picks, save some of those bench dudes. You got a deeper team. I don't even think Kyrie. I didn't even love the KD and Kyrie duo. Like when that became a thing, I didn't like that.
Yeah, and there wasn't a game of it, right? Like KD didn't even play the game last year. Yeah. So is KD going to be fully healthy?
That's what everything I've seen is everyone's saying KD is.
Plus, you're going to have a late start to the season.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, December 22nd. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Shall we move to picks?
Yeah, sure.
A little early. All right.
I gotta get these games up. I haven't even looked at most of these games.
Neither have I. All right. Let's start with the Steelers and the Jags.
Steelers.
Yeah.
Detroit lost 8 straight.
They're horrible. They will probably contest with the Jets maybe for that number 1 pick. And then I guess it'll be an NFC East team.
Probably.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I got Steelers.
Yeah, so do I. Detroit and Carolina. No Teddy.
He's out?
I think he's out, yeah. I could be wrong.
Then I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah. Matthew Stafford played great last week.
Get Matt Patricia out of Detroit. Why is he still
horrible.
He's awful.
He's horrible.
I think they've been DeAndre Swift is out too.
Yeah.
So
what do you think of him? What do you think? I mean, he's been
pretty good.
I think he's picked it up.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson said that when he got the news that Swift was the guy, he said that they should have done that like 3 weeks before.
Yeah, see,
so that's pretty telling. Adrian Peterson thinks he should be starting over him.
Talk about a guy that has to retire.
Yeah, he's got. It's time to hang it up.
Yeah. New England and Houston. I'm picking New England.
Yeah, Houston sucks.
Rematch of the AFC divisional round with Tennessee and Baltimore.
This is going to be. I still have no idea if Tennessee is good.
That's a tough team to figure out.
Literally week to week, you have no clue what you're going to get from them. Derrick Henry's either going to go off for 20 or for 200 yards and 7 touchdowns, and they're going to murder you, or they're just going to lay down and die.
Yeah, that's a tough team to figure out. Falcons and the Saints.
I'm going to take Baltimore.
Oh yeah, I'm taking Baltimore too. Yeah, sorry about that. Jumped ahead. Falcons and the Saints.
Saints.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill lights it up.
I feel like Washington's always in a game where they can win, and they play Cincinnati this week. What do you think?
Yeah. Two top draft picks going at it this week. I think. Who gives a shit about this game? Fucking Bengals probably. I don't know.
Yeah. Jets and Chargers.
I'm taking the Jets, baby. I'm taking.
All right.
I think it's gonna happen.
I will laugh. I will laugh. Is Darnold playing?
Oh, if he's not playing, then I'm not taking them.
Watch Joe Flacco just mumble in there.
I'm not taking Joe Flacco winning the game. Maybe Sam Darnold, but not Joe Flacco.
Yeah, no.
They're in LA.
I'm picking the Chargers. Dolphins and Denver. I'm picking Miami.
I know Joe Flacco is starting.
Is he?
Yeah, I'm going LA.
Yeah.
Flacco's 2-12 in his last 14 starts.
Oh Christ. Yeah, Dolphins and Denver.
Dolphins.
Yeah,
Denver's awful. I was so high on them going into this year, and they suck.
Is Fangio going?
He's got to go.
Yeah.
Drew Lock. That offense on paper I thought was going to be so good. And then Drew Lock goes out there last week, throws 4 interceptions, and they get steamrolled by Vegas.
Yeah. Dallas is once again on America's Game of the Week in Minnesota.
That's America's Game of the Week.
I think it might be. It says 425, so it's either a Fox or CBS game. I think it's Fox, since it's two. Let me look. Two NFC. Yeah, it's a Fox game.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree. Tell you what,
Dalvin Cook's gonna have a field day.
And Justin Jefferson, dude, I think you can't get better as a rookie.
Fucking Eagles, bro. How do you fuck that pickup? I don't give a shit how Jalen Reagor pans out. Justin Jefferson's gonna be better throughout their entire careers.
We say it now, though. I have to say, I have to put that out there. We say that now, but
I guess
the looks of it, and plus, Mike Zimmer's really good with young guys. I feel like
they've always got really good receivers.
Yeah,
they turned Thielen from like a Minnesota State or wherever the fuck he went, undrafted to a stud. Yeah. Diggs was really good there. This dude.
Green Bay and Indianapolis, probably the game of the week.
Yeah, probably.
And there's a couple. I mean, the Sunday night and the Monday night games are pretty good, but this is a good one. I'm picking Green Bay.
This is going to be – I think I'm going to go Green Bay. I trust the Packers offense more than I trust – as good as Indy's defense has been, I trust the Green Bay offense more.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas City and Vegas.
Their only loss on the season was Vegas.
Yeah, and it's a Sunday night game.
They're going to murder Vegas.
I agree.
They're going to murder the Raiders. They're going to come out there and be like, yeah, you gave us this loss that we have we're fucking you up.
Yeah. This is an interesting Monday night game. LA Rams against Tampa Bay.
Tampa Brady.
I'm picking Tampa Bay. I feel like you have more consistency out of them than you do with LA.
The Rams have the second scoring defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's insane.
Where is that? That's in Tampa. Not that there's no fucking fans anyway. Never mind.
No, Tampa has fans, I think.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Probably everyone in Florida's got fans.
Yeah. No, Florida has fans.
Yeah. This is gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
I'm
picking Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna take Tampa Bay.
Yeah. All right. Eagles and the Brownies.
As much as I want to,
I'm picking Cleveland. I
I'm gonna have to think about this for a second.
I'm off.
Like, they've given me no reason to think that they're gonna win, but there's just something that's saying like
there's that little spark. There's that little spark.
This is just one of those games that they're just gonna go and they just get humiliated by an awful team, and then they go out there and just show out against the Browns.
Yeah,
I'm picking them because that's gonna fucking happen. I just see it happening.
I agree. I feel like that's gonna be more next week against Seattle.
We're not beating Seattle. We're getting steamrolled. They own us.
About a team that owns us.
They own us. Russell Wilson's never lost to the Eagles.
Nope.
Like,
nope. Gonna be sitting watching that game on a Monday night, and I'm just gonna be like,
is that a Monday night game?
Yeah, we're on Monday Night Football next week against Seattle.
Why?
I don't know. ESPN wants to do ESPN things. All right, Mike. Another episode.
This was a good one.
Tomorrow should be very interesting, as always.
Yeah. I look forward.
We'll see what happens.
I look forward to most games.
Yeah.
Not the Eagles.
I mean, the games look good on paper, but like in general in the league, but who knows?
I feel like Green Bay might blow out Indy.
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Good talking to you, Mike.
Good talking to you too.
See what happens.
All right. We'll see you here next week.
Yeah.